Why does it feel like everyone else is moving faster than you? Like no matter how hard you try, you're always behind. Watching others succeed while you question if you're even on the right path. That quiet anxiety, that sinking feeling in your chest. It's not because you're broken. It's because you've been taught to measure yourself against people who are not you. Their journey is not your journey. Their timing is not your timing. And yet you keep looking out instead of looking in. But here's the truth. The moment you stop comparing and start focusing on yourself, everything begins to change. There's a power that wakes up when you finally say, I've had enough of this. Enough of scrolling through other people's lives wondering what you're doing wrong. Enough of the constant self-doubt, the quiet fear that maybe you'll never catch up. Enough of feeling like you're not good enough. You were not born to chase shadows. You were born to create light. But you can't do that if your attention is scattered in 100 directions. You can't build your life when your eyes are always on someone else's. The longer you compare, the longer you delay your own growth. And deep down, you know that. The truth is, no one else can define your worth. No one else can walk your path, live your story, or dream your dream. That's your job. That's your responsibility. The noise outside doesn't know your heart. It doesn't know your fight, your late nights, your silent prayers, your small daily efforts that no one claps for. So why keep giving it power? Why keep measuring yourself against lives you don't fully see? You're not here to compete. You're here to become. You're here to discover how far you can go when you stop looking sideways and start looking forward. You don't need to be faster. You don't need to be like them. You need to be consistent. You need to be present. You need to be real with yourself. And that starts today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Because if you can reclaim your focus, you can reclaim your future. If you can quiet the comparisons, you can finally hear your own voice, the one that's been drowned out for too long. That voice has something to say. It has ideas. It has passion. It has passion. It has power. And it's waiting for you to listen. So don't click away. Don't zone out. Don't fall back into the noise. Stay with this message, because by the time this video ends, you'll have the tools to take your focus back, to turn comparison into clarity, and to finally start showing up. Not for the world, but for yourself. You deserve to grow without pressure. You deserve to build at your own pace. And if you stay present, you'll learn how to do just that. Focus on yourself. Everything else can wait. Most people never realize how much power they give away every day. Not through massive decisions, but through tiny unconscious choices. Scrolling through someone else's life instead of building your own. Doubting your abilities because someone else seems more successful. Adjusting your goals because someone you barely know hit a milestone you haven't. These are not harmless habits. They are quiet acts of self-abandonment. Every time you choose comparison, you disconnect from your own truth. Every time you let someone else's pace dictate your worth, you slow your own progress. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack potential, but because your energy is being spent everywhere except where it matters, on you. The hardest part of focus isn't knowing what to do. It's tuning out what doesn't matter. It's silencing the pressure to keep up. It's saying no to distraction, not once, but over and over again. Its focus isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's waking up and reminding yourself who you are, what you value, and what you're building. It's looking in the mirror and refusing to measure your worth by anyone else's reflection. That kind of focus takes courage. It takes discipline. But it gives back something even more powerful: peace. The kind of peace that isn't shaken by someone else's success. The kind of peace that lets you grow slowly, deeply, and with purpose. There's a deep relief that comes when you finally let go of comparison. When you stop asking, am I doing enough? And start asking, am I doing what matters to me? That question changes everything. It rewires your motivation. It clears your mind. It brings you back to yourself. Because the truth is, you don't need to match anyone else's speed. You don't need louder applause or more recognition. What you need is alignment. You need to move in a direction that makes sense for your life. You need to commit to growth that feels right for your soul, not just impressive to the outside world. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to start becoming who you're meant to become. The progress you crave won't come from chasing others. It will come from connecting deeply with your own vision, from showing up with consistency even when no one's watching. From building in silence with your heart on fire and your eyes on your own path, That's real focus. That's where change begins. You've spent enough time looking at others. Now is the time to look inward, to get honest about what you want, to cut the noise, to take back your energy and invest it into your future. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you, fully awake, fully focused, and finally free from the trap of comparison. And that begins the moment you decide to pour everything you've got into becoming the person you were always meant to be. It's not your talent holding you back. It's not a lack of intelligence, discipline, or opportunity. It's your focus, where you place it, where you feed with it, who you give it away to, because focus is your greatest currency. It decides what grows in your life and what withers. Whatever you feed with your attention becomes your reality. And if your focus is scattered, constantly reacting to others, constantly adjusting to noise, you will never build the deep grounded strength that real transformation requires. You can't create a masterpiece while watching everyone else paint. You can't grow roots if you keep uprooting yourself to chase what's trending. Growth needs stillness. It needs depth. It needs you to stop chasing and start becoming. Your life is not a race. It is not a contest. It's a commitment, a sacred one, between who you are and who you're becoming. You don't need to run faster. You need to run truer. You need to know why you're moving, what you're building, who you're doing it for. And if the answer isn't grounded in your own truth, then you're building someone else's dream, not yours. That kind of life always collapses because it wasn't rooted in authenticity. It was shaped by pressure, not purpose. You deserve more than that. You deserve a life that fits your soul, not one that performs for applause. The ones who rise are not the ones who watch others. They're the ones who stay with themselves. Through the boredom, through the discomfort, through the long silent seasons when nothing seems to be happening, because they know the deepest growth is invisible. It happens in private, through daily decisions no one sees, through small acts of self-respect, through hours of practice, through choosing purpose over validation. That's where real momentum lives. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Not in applause, but in alignment. You already have what it takes. You've just been giving your energy to the wrong things. Doubt, distraction, comparison. You've been spinning in circles, chasing a feeling that can only come from within. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You only need to prove to yourself that you're willing to stay with the process, that you're strong enough to be consistent, focused, and relentless in your own lane, and that you trust yourself enough to walk away from noise and build in peace. You are not here to be second to anyone. You are not here to match their steps. You are here to create your own path, to walk it with integrity, to honor the fire inside you that's tired of waiting. Stop giving your focus to people who don't know your potential. Stop watching and start building. Because the day you commit to your path without apology is the day everything changes. Not all at once, but deeply, permanently, and powerfully. That change is waiting for you. But only if you're ready to focus. Fully, fiercely, completely. If you want to rise, you have to stop waiting for permission. No one is coming to tell you it's time. No one will hand you the perfect moment. You create it. You build it. You choose it every single day. That begins by turning inward. By refusing to hand over your power to things that have nothing to do with your purpose. The outside world is loud. It's fast. It wants your attention, your energy, your belief. But what it gives back is noise, not clarity. Validation, not growth. Applause, not truth. Untruth. And if you live for that, you will stay dependent. Your mood will rise and fall with likes, opinions, and results. You'll never feel solid. You'll never feel whole because your foundation will always be outside of you. Real focus is quiet. It's not dramatic. It's not glamorous. It's not glamorous. It's a calm decision you make again and again. I choose myself. I choose to stay grounded. I choose to build in alignment with who I am becoming, not what others are doing. This choice is powerful because it's rare. Most people drift. Most people react. Most people run in circles because they never stop long enough to ask what actually matters to them. But you're not most people. You feel something deeper pulling you forward. A quiet urgency to wake up, lock in, and move with purpose. That voice inside you? The one that keeps whispering there's more for you? It's right. And it's time you start listening. Discipline isn't about restriction. It's about freedom. The freedom that comes when you're no longer a prisoner to distraction. The freedom that comes when you no longer need to know what everyone else is doing. The freedom that comes when your only competition is the person you were yesterday. When you live like that, everything changes. You start showing up for yourself. You start keeping your promises. You start trusting your own voice again. You stop second-guessing your instincts. And that trust builds momentum. You stop needing motivation because you built a foundation that carries you through the lows. This is where confidence is born. Not from recognition, but from alignment. Not from noise, but from truth. The confidence grows every time you choose to focus on what's real. Every time you turn your back on the lies that tell you you're not enough. You are enough. You've always been. But you just forgot, buried beneath all the noise of a world designed to distract you. But now your eyes are open. Now you're choosing different. Now you're not just hearing this, you're feeling it. And that feeling, the rising power inside you, that's the start of everything. So, onto it. Let it grow. Let it burn through the fog of comparison and light up your own path. This is your life. This is your time. This is your power. Take it back. Focus on yourself. Everything you want begins here. Everything changes the moment you decide to become intentional. Not just busy, not just productive, but aligned, clear, committed to the path that actually belongs to you. Because being everywhere leads you nowhere. And doing everything doesn't mean you're doing what matters. When you stop chasing and start choosing, your life starts to move differently. The chaos quiets. The pressure fades. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger, more focused, more rooted. You begin to realize that most of the stress, confusion, and burnout you've carried came from living in reaction instead of creation. You were reacting to other people's progress, reacting to expectations that were never yours, reacting to noise that had no business guiding your decisions. But not anymore. Now your direction is internal. You measure your life by effort, not attention. You track your growth by courage, not comparison. You stop asking who's ahead and start asking, am I moving with purpose? That question rewires everything. It doesn't just shift your mindset, it reshapes your identity. You stop being the person who watches and waits. You become the person who decides. The one who takes full responsibility for where you're headed. The one who shows up when it's hard. Who stays focused when it's boring. Who doesn't need permission to keep going. That's who you've always had the potential to be. And the only thing standing in your way was misplaced focus. But your peace depends on something far more stable. Your ability to stay grounded in your own lane. That means learning to protect your mind. Protect your energy. You don't have to comment on every opinion. You don't have to absorb every headline. You don't have to let the fear of missing out turn into a lifetime of missing yourself. Your mind is not a dumping ground for everyone else's thoughts. It's your home. Keep it clean. Keep it focused. Keep it clear enough to hear your own voice. That voice knows what to do. It knows what matters. It knows when to move and when to wait. It's only been drowned out by the noise you never chose to filter. But now you are choosing. You're choosing boundaries. You're choosing stillness. You're choosing long-term growth over short-term applause. And that kind of decision is rare. That kind of decision is power. Not loud, not showy, but quiet, steady, and unshakable. There will be days you feel behind. There will be moments you doubt your progress. That's normal. But those feelings are not facts. And they are never reasons to quit. You don't need to feel certain. You just need to stay consistent. Because focus is not about having all the answers. It's about refusing to be distracted by the wrong ones. Your path is yours. Honor it. Own it. And above all, protect it with everything you've got. There is a version of you that exists beyond distraction, beyond doubt, beyond the noise. A version that doesn't need approval to move, doesn't wait for signs to act, doesn't shrink under pressure. That version lives inside you. Not someday, not later, but right now. It's just been buried beneath everything you've been taught to chase. You've been told to watch others, follow trends, stay connected, keep up. But none of those things build power. None of them create peace. They just keep you chasing shadows while your real life waits in silence. You don't need more inspiration. You need discipline. You need intention. You need to wake up and remind yourself that the path you're walking deserves your full attention. Not part of it. Not what's left after the scrolling and comparing. All of it. That's the difference between feeling lost and feeling aligned. When your focus is fractured, everything feels overwhelming. Every step feels heavy. But when your energy is unified, when it's rooted in your own vision, clarity returns. The fog lifts. You remember what matters. And that's when things begin to shift. Most people never feel that shift because they never stop long enough to create it. They live their whole lives trying to be everything to everyone and end up being nothing to themselves. But not you. Not anymore. You're choosing different now. You're choosing stillness over speed, depth over distraction, integrity over image. That's not weakness. That's strength of the highest kind. The strength to say no when everything screams yes, yes. The strength to stay grounded when the world pulls at your focus. The strength to trust that your path, even if slower, even if quieter, is still sacred. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. You don't need to be more like them. You need to be more of yourself. When you protect your focus, you protect your future. When you stop entertaining everything that steals your peace, you create space for everything that builds it. This is not about perfection. This is about direction. A conscious return to what you're here to do. Not what looks good. Not what's popular, but what's real. What lasts, what matters when the noise fades and the lights go out. Focus is not a gift. It's a choice, a practice, a promise to yourself that you will not waste your energy on things that will not matter in the end. Because what will matter is how deeply you lived, how honestly you built, how fully you became the person you were always meant to be. And none of that happens by accident. It happens by focus. It happens by focus. It happens by removing what doesn't belong, so you can give your full self to what does. This is your moment, not to start over, but to start fully, present, clear, committed, focused on you. There is nothing more dangerous to your potential than divided attention. When your energy is scattered across 100 meaningless distractions, your power dissolves. Your mind becomes clouded. Your vision blurs. You begin to lose the thread of who you are. Focus is not about doing more. It's about cutting away everything that isn't aligned with your future. Every notification, every opinion, every uninvited expectation pulls you further from the person you are meant to become. You can't build clarity in chaos. You can't find peace while you're addicted to noise. You have to choose what matters most and give it everything. Your time is sacred. Your energy is limited. And your life will be built by whatever you give both of those to. That's not a threat. It's a truth. It's a truth. Every moment you spend worrying about someone else's progress is a moment lost from your own. Every second you hesitate because of what people might think is a second of growth you never get back. You cannot afford to live that way. Not if you want to rise. Not if you want to lead your life with intention, not reaction. The cost of distraction is your potential. And that price is too high. You owe yourself more respect, more consistency, more belief in what you're capable of creating when you stop leaking energy into things that don't grow you. The strongest version of you is already waiting. It's not found through more hustle. It's found through more focus, through choosing your path and walking it fully, no matter how loud the world gets, no matter who's watching, no matter how long it takes. This is what separates those who drift from those who build. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's focus. The discipline to stay the course when everything around you tries to pull you off track. You're not here to be distracted. You're not here to be consumed by everything and connected to nothing. You're here to become someone, to build something real with your life, but that requires presence. It requires intention. It requires the maturity to say no, not because you're missing out, but because you know what's worth your time. That's what clarity looks like. That's what strength feels like. And that's what focus gives you. Not just progress, but peace. Not just productivity, but purpose. You don't have to chase everything. You don't have to prove anything. You only need to protect what you're building, guard it from the noise. Feed it with your time. Strengthen it with your choices. You are not behind, you are not lost. You are just one decision away from locking back in, from reclaiming your attention, from rising through discipline. Not for show, not for approval, but for you. Stay grounded, stay clear, stay clear. But when you bring it home, back to your goals, your values, your purpose, you become unstoppable. Not because everything gets easier, but because you stop wasting energy on what doesn't build you. You don't rise by doing more. You rise by doing what matters with relentless consistency. Your future doesn't need perfection. It needs direction. Every time you recommit to your focus, even after falling off track, you create alignment. And alignment is more powerful than intensity. Anyone can work hard when they're inspired, but lasting transformation is built by those who work with clarity, even when it's quiet, even when the results are invisible, even when no one claps. That's the kind of focus that rewires who you are. That's the kind that changes everything, because it's not based on feelings, it's based on identity. And identity drives every decision you make. When you focus, you start to build trust with yourself again. You stop breaking promises to your future. You stop making decisions that sabotage your growth. You start choosing what strengthens you, even if no one understands. Especially if no one understands, because your focus isn't supposed to make sense to people who aren't chasing what you're building. Let them watch. Let them doubt. You don't owe anyone proof. You owe yourself progress. That progress doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. You were not made to live your life distracted, reactive, or lost in comparison. You were made to be precise. You were made to move with intention. You were made to focus so deeply on your own growth that everything outside of you becomes irrelevant. That kind of focus can't be given to you. It has to be chosen every day, through discipline, through repetition, through a quiet, powerful decision to stop feeding what weakens you. You are not here to drift. You are here to rise. Lock in. Shut out the noise. Shut out the noise and give everything to what you know you're meant to build. Focus is the foundation on which everything else is built. Without it, even the greatest intentions collapse into scattered effort and frustration. The truth is, you cannot control what happens around you, but you can control where your mind goes. That control is your greatest asset. It's a power few claim because it demands discipline and courage. It means saying no to distractions that feel good, but don't serve your growth. It means turning away from the comfort of comparison and stepping into the discomfort of being fully present with your own journey. That's where transformation begins. Not in perfection, but in the deliberate choice to prioritize yourself above the noise. When your focus sharpens, your world shifts. You begin to see possibilities where before there were only obstacles. You find energy you didn't know you had because your attention isn't drained by worry or envy. Your mind becomes a tool, not a battlefield. Every thought is aligned with your goals instead of derailed by doubts. This kind of mental clarity is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Without it, your dreams remain distant. With it, your dreams become inevitable. The difference lies in the small daily choices you make to protect your focus, even when it's hard, even when the world demands your attention elsewhere. Your attention is a resource. It flows where you direct it, and where it flows, growth follows. The people who achieve greatness understand this deeply. They do not waste time comparing their beginnings to someone else's middle. They do not let envy or fear dictate their actions. They stay committed to their own path with unwavering focus, even when the pace feels slow or the results are unseen. This is the discipline that builds character. This is the mindset that transforms ordinary days into extraordinary progress. When you embrace this, you step into a power that no outside force can shake. The distractions will never end. The noise will always be there, tempting you to lose sight of what matters most. But your focus is your shield. It is your strongest form of resistance against the chaos. When you learn to guard it fiercely, you protect your potential. You honor the investment you've made in yourself. You create space for creativity, for growth, for the deep work that turns dreams into reality. This kind of focus is not accidental. It is intentional. It is the result of constant practice, vigilance, and a refusal to settle for less than your true capacity. Choosing to focus on yourself is the most radical act of self-love you can commit to. It means believing that your growth matters more than anyone's approval. It means understanding that your progress will not always be visible, but it is always happening beneath the surface. It means trusting that the small, consistent actions you take every day will add up to a life transformed. Focus is not about ignoring the world. It's about choosing where to place your energy so that you can live fully, courageously, and authentically. Hold that truth close. Eat it. Let it fuel every decision. Because when you focus on yourself, everything else aligns. The power to control your focus is the power to control your life. When you decide where your attention goes, you decide who you become. This is not abstract. It's the core of your transformation. Every moment spent fixating on others' paths is a moment stolen from your own progress. Every thought consumed by judgment, envy, or comparison pulls you deeper into confusion and fear. But when you break free from this cycle and turn your gaze inward, you tap into a well of strength that is untouched by outside forces. That strength fuels perseverance, resilience, and clarity. It is the birthplace of true growth. You must understand that the world will never stop pulling at your focus. There will always be distractions. There will always be voices telling you to look elsewhere, to compete, to doubt yourself. The difference between those who succeed and those who drift is not the absence of these voices, but the ability to choose silence in their presence. to close the door on what does not serve your purpose, to cultivate a mental sanctuary where your vision can breathe and expand without interruption. So, this sanctuary is your mind. It is your refuge, and it is your most powerful weapon. Focus requires sacrifice. It demands you give up the allure of instant gratification. It asks you to trade the fleeting rush of comparison for the deep fulfillment that comes from dedication to your own journey. This is uncomfortable because it strips away the easy distractions we lean on to avoid facing ourselves. But on the other side of discomfort lies growth. Real, lasting change comes when you resist the urge to seek validation outside and instead anchor yourself firmly inside. When you learn to be your own motivation, your own standard, your own guide, you stop being a passenger and start driving your life with intention. Every time you bring your attention back to your own goals, you are rewiring your brain for success. You build new neural pathways that support discipline, confidence, and clarity. You diminish the power of doubt and fear. You strengthen your ability to stay steady in the face of uncertainty. This is the invisible work that produces visible results. It is slow, it is steady, it is relentless. It requires patience because transformation is a process, not an event. But this process is where your true potential unfolds. Choosing yourself means giving your energy only to what nourishes your growth. It means protecting your mind from comparison, distraction, and negativity. It means waking up each day with the intention to guard your focus fiercely, knowing that your future depends on it, your dreams, your purpose, your happiness. None of these will be handed to you. They are cultivated through persistent, unwavering attention to the person you are becoming. You are not here to be sidetracked or deluded. You are here to rise with focus, strength, and clarity. This is your path, your power, your moment to own. Embrace it fully. True focus is not simply about blocking out noise. It is about tuning into the frequency of your own purpose with unwavering clarity. When you sharpen your focus, you don't just filter distractions. You amplify your inner voice, the one that knows what you are capable of becoming. This voice is often drowned out by the demands and judgments of others, by fears rooted in comparison and self-doubt. But when you commit to focusing solely on yourself, you reclaim that voice. You give it space to grow louder, more confident, more relentless. It becomes the compass that guides every choice, every action, every moment of your day. This is not about arrogance or isolation. It is about respect for your potential, for your time, and for your journey. The energy you spend looking outward, envying others, or worrying about opinions is energy stolen from your own transformation. Your focus is sacred, and it must be protected with fierce discipline. The world will always tempt you with distractions that feel urgent, but are ultimately meaningless. The secret lies in recognizing these temptations as traps designed to keep you small, unfocused, and comfortable in mediocrity. You were not created for comfort. You were created for growth, for challenge, for impact. And focus is the tool that carves the path to all of that. Every day you exercise your focus, you strengthen the muscles of your mind. You build resilience against the pull of distraction. You train yourself to see clearly through the fog of comparison and external validation. This mental strength becomes your foundation, a foundation so solid that even the loudest voices outside cannot shake it. When you live anchored in your own progress, you develop a powerful immunity to doubt and fear. You no longer wait for permission or recognition. You become your own source of motivation and validation. This independence fuels an unstoppable momentum, one that pushes you forward regardless of obstacles or setbacks. Focus demands patience because transformation is a marathon, not a sprint. Progress may be slow, invisible even, but it is always happening when you remain dedicated. The challenge is to trust the process, to believe in the unseen growth beneath the surface. This trust creates a powerful emotional momentum. It keeps you steady in moments of uncertainty, grounded when distractions scream for your attention. You learn to find peace in the daily commitment to yourself, knowing that each focused choice adds up to the person you are becoming. This peace is not passive. It is a powerful form of resistance against the chaos of the world. To focus on yourself is to say yes to your own greatness. It is a radical declaration that your dreams matter more than the noise, that your path is yours alone, not a reflection of other success or failures. This focus is your sanctuary, your secret weapon, and your greatest gift. Guard it fiercely. Nourish it daily. Let it guide you beyond distraction, beyond doubt, beyond fear. Your potential is waiting on the other side of your attention. Give it fully and watch how your life begins to change in ways you never imagined possible. Your focus is the gateway to your freedom. When you anchor your mind in your own growth, you break the chains that keep you tethered to fear, doubt, and comparison. These forces try to distract you with illusions of who you should be or what others expect from you. But your true power lies in choosing who you are becoming, unapologetically, relentlessly, and with unwavering commitment. This choice is the most courageous act you will ever make because it requires you to turn inward and face the raw truth of your potential without excuses or distractions. The clarity that comes from focused attention is a force that reshapes your reality. It sharpens your vision and strengthens your resolve. With focus, every challenge becomes an opportunity to learn, every setback a stepping stone forward. You start to see that growth is not linear. It's a cycle of effort, reflection, and renewed effort. This understanding frees you from the need for instant results or external approval. You become patient with your progress because you know it is a reflection of your dedication to yourself, not a race against others. This patience builds confidence, a quiet but unshakable belief that your path is valid and your efforts meaningful. To protect your focus, you must cultivate boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates you control. They decide what influences enter your mind and which ones are turned away. When you establish clear boundaries, you protect your energy from being siphoned by distractions, negativity, or toxic comparisons. You learn to say no, not out of fear, but out of respect for your own journey. This respect grows into self-love, the deepest kind of love there is. It is the kind that fuels resilience, fuels consistency, and fuels the fire to keep moving forward even when the world tries to pull you off course. Your mind is the battlefield where your future is won or lost. When you focus inward, you choose your thoughts carefully. You reject the lies that tell you you're not enough or that someone else's success diminishes your own. Instead, you affirm your worth daily. You remind yourself that your journey is unique and that comparison only distracts you from your true potential. This mental discipline rewires your brain for success. It rewires your emotions to support your goals rather than sabotage them. The more you practice this, the stronger your mental muscles become, creating a momentum that is impossible to stop. Living focused means living intentionally. It means waking up every day with a clear purpose, a clear plan, and a clear refusal to be derailed by the opinions or distractions of others. It means embracing solitude when necessary, because solitude is where clarity is born. It means embracing discomfort because discomfort is where growth happens. This path is not easy, but it is the only path that leads to real freedom. The freedom to become the person you were always meant to be. When you focus on yourself, you unlock this freedom, you unlock your power. And with it, you unlock the life you have been waiting for.